Well, look who's back with us. She's a former teacher, former member of the teachers union. She's a mom, too. She's Erika Sanzi with Parents Defending Education. Erika, there's a story breaking. It's coming in. Rebecca Kiesling, she lost her two sons to fentanyl poisoning. She says they were murdered. She's saying the president should apologize for joking about Marjorie Taylor Greene's outrage over that. Let's watch her apology. Watch this.
What a horrible human being. How can he sit there and joke about it? Somebody asked me, oh, did he just misspeak? I'm like, this shows his heart. You don't have to think about what you say in a moment like this. And to me, it's like it shows this is why he just opened the border so wide. He just doesn't care. He's completely heartless. The president owes me an apology, and all of the other parents who have lost their children, he owes us an apology.
What do you think, Erika?
I think that this is a symptom of how ugly the polarization and partisanship has gotten. I actually did see the clip of the president earlier. Because he so wants to win, I think, right, against the other party, he found himself laughing and joking in the context of two boys that died because they thought they were taking a Percocet, and instead it had fentanyl and it killed them. So she does deserve an apology, and he made a really big mistake in, again, laughing and joking in a partisan way when the subject was something as serious as a mother losing two of her sons. Yeah,
and a young girl also died along with those two sons. So this is quite a story that we're covering here. Erika, we want your also reaction to this. We got to move on to this. House Democrats, they're opposing the House GOP's new parental bill of rights in education. So does the teachers union. They call it an overreach. Is it an overreach? It would do things, they're saying it would be harmful to schools and teachers. It would require school districts to do things like post curriculum publicly and notify parents of any instances of violence or assault at the school. Is this an overreach?
I don't think it's overreach, though I think that there may be a couple things in it that are a little bit debatable, but where there is no debate, and I hate to break it to the House Democrats on this, but parents across the political spectrum believe that transparency is needed. And they believe that transparency is needed around curriculum, right? So what are their children being taught during the school day? And also around what is happening in terms of violent incidents in the building. And we have seen an increasing trend of school districts trying to keep parents in the dark about both of those things. And this is new. It didn't used to be that if you wanted to know what the curriculum included or what your child was being taught or what was being asked on surveys, you didn't run into a brick wall. Yeah. So I think that they're wrong on this one. And the reason this is bubbling up is because parents of every political stripe, including apolitical parents, are extremely concerned about what is happening in the schools, particularly in the past few years.
Well, let's watch these two mothers speaking on Capitol Hill about this parental bill of rights. Watch this.
My name is Nicole Solis, and I am a mother from Rhode Island who was sued by the teachers union simply because I wanted to know what my kindergartner would be learning in school. I asked to see the curriculum, and my school told me I had to submit a public records request. The curriculum wasn't posted online, and it wasn't available in a school district. Then I asked them if they were teaching gender theory, and they told me that they don't call children boys and girls, and they embed the values of gender identity into every classroom, including kindergarten, and they didn't want to answer any of my questions further.
My name is Neely McAllister, and I am a Fairfax County mother of 4. After Governor Youngkin announced his executive order banning mask mandates in school, my daughter, who is here with me now, she stood firm in her decision to no longer wear a mask to school. And for that, she was suspended 11 times. 11 times for not wearing a mask. Think about how absurd that sounds. That even the New York Times recently had to admit that masks were essentially ineffective and useless.
Well, What do you think, Erika? I mean, the White House just disbanded its Education Department Parents Advisory Panel after the DOJ was accused of using DOJ resources and the FBI to target school board parents. It's sort of like they're on the surface of the problem when, to your point, that the media and MSNBC, CNN, they need to do more about addressing what parents are really upset about, like those two parents.
Yeah, that's been the most frustrating thing, is the coverage has been extremely dishonest, or they'll pluck, one crazy situation and they'll try to broad brush everybody with that. And by the way, the Parent Council was disbanded because they broke the law by only including partisans on the council. All they had to do was include diversity of viewpoint and invite parent groups that had different views. Rather than allow for different views on it, they disbanded the whole thing.
Wow.
So that's another example of how they really are not on the side of parents, and they don't want to understand what it is that parents who don't think like they do, they don't want to hear them or listen to what they're saying. And that is why I can promise you that this isn't a political thing for parents, right? We hear from parents on the left, right, center all the time, because concerns about what's happening in schools, particularly what Nicole mentioned. I happen to know Nicole because we live in the same state, the mother that had to file those public records requests. If a school has decided they are going to change language in such a way that they don't use words like boys and girls, and they don't want to use words like mother and father and husband and wife because it's gendered language, parents have every right to say, hold on a minute, who made this decision? And you can't make me play along with your language games.
Erika Sanzi, you're terrific. We'll have you back on again soon, okay? It's good to see you.